It's your voice, your vote. This election, voters will decide what happens to one Senate seat representing Oregon. Incumbent Senator Jeff Merkley is facing Republican challenger Jo Rae Perkins. NewsWatch 12's Brian Morton spoke with both candidates earlier this afternoon. You'll hear from both of them during this newscast. Here's Brian's interview with Perkins.
It's your voice, your vote this election. Republican Jo Rae Perkins is hoping to take over one of the Oregon U.S. Senate seat. Her challenger, of course, incumbent Senator Jeff Merkley. Merkley has been in the Senate since 2008. Jo Rae Perkins joins us now. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you very much. It's great to join you.
So tell us a little bit about your priorities should you win in November.
Well, my priorities are, one is to get back to doing what the role of the federal government is, according to the Constitution. My opinion, the federal government has gotten just a little bit too big, and so that will save us tax dollars. But one of the biggest priorities is taking care of our forests, the federal forests, making sure that they're properly managed so that these out-of-control wildfires end as much as humanly possible by putting back into practice better forest management.
What do you feel has not been well managed, and what changes would you propose?
Well, what has not been well managed is taking care of all the underbrush because of the amount of lawsuits from the environmental groups. The federal government seems to say, oh, we're not going to log, and we're well below sustainability on what is being logged on the federal forest, and we need to get back in there, cut some trees, get the underbrush out. And I think it's going to go a lot farther. We will slow down the size of those those wildfires in the federal forest, which will make a huge difference, and it'll create money into the economy versus taking money out of the economy.
As you challenge Senator Merkley, he has a long record in the U.S. Senate. What qualifications do you think your background brings, and why do you think those would be superior to Senator Merkley's?
Senator Merkley has spent the majority of his working career working in the government sector. I'm a Main Street American. I'm married to a carpet installation contractor. We've been through the good, the bad, the ugly. We understand what most everyday Main Street Oregonians go through. My background is in the financial planning sector, real estate. I've worked at Oregon State University, so I have a good grasp of how government budgeting works. And so I bring real life experience to Washington, D.C., which is really how our country was founded.
How do you think that will influence your legislative agenda moving forward?
I take a look at things from a common sense approach, and again, from a constitutional approach. What does the Constitution say the role of the federal government is? Not what we want it to be, and that's what we need to be taking a look at, and that's how I'm going to vote, is according to what the Constitution says, not what some special interest group wants. And I'm going to legislate for all Oregonians, not just a few.
Well, I guess that would direct me to how would you address specific issues as it relates to voters in Southern Oregon? What would your agenda be for this part of the state?
For that part of the state, we have a lot of natural resources. In the Southern Oregon part of the state, President Trump just signed an executive order opening up mining. There's a lot of rare earth minerals in Southern Oregon, and we need to get that opened up so that, one, it'll create jobs. And then we need to look at processing plants for those minerals that are mined and see what we can do to open up those plants here in Oregon instead of sending those abroad.
Well,
abroad outside of the state.
Well, mining and some issues can present some fairly significant environmental issues. What are your positions on protecting Southern Oregon's environment while balancing that with the need to increase jobs?
Well, there's new mining techniques that are coming on board. And we need to take a look at those mining techniques and make sure that they are environmentally sound, that we're not going to do anything that's going to really upset the ecosystem.
Now, there's a chance that the Republicans could hold on to the Senate. Would that change your legislative agenda and how you approach that, given that you're representing a state that for a long time has had a majority of Democrats representing it in Washington? How would keeping the majority in the Senate help you, and what would your priorities be at that point?
My priorities are not going to change based on whether the Republican Party, which I hope holds the Senate or not. My priority is to the people of Oregon, and again, based on what the Constitution says. And I'm very solid on that. I'm a constitutionalist, and I think that's important. Again, that we take a look at that first. It's not, and I'm on record of saying that if a bill is proposed that is clearly unconstitutional, and I cannot get that unconstitutionality out of it, I would have to vote no, and it doesn't matter who sponsored that bill. And I'm on record of saying that multiple times, and I'm on record again. So again, the job description is in the Constitution, and that's what I'm asking for the voters to vote for.
As we approach the end of our interview, I want to give you the opportunity to respond. Your name has been linked to QAnon. I wanted you to explain exactly whether that is an accurate description of your current beliefs. If not, why it's been connected, and if it is, why you do support that theory, I suppose.
So it's really Q. It's not QAnon. It's really just Q. But it is anonymous. And so I support the Q team to publish what they want to publish underneath their First Amendment, freedom of the press, freedom of speech. If we have freedom of the press, we must have freedom to also read what is put out there. What I find interesting is that so much of the mainstream media has a problem with Q and the anonymous information, which, by the way, most of it is reprints of mainstream media, but yet it's the mainstream media that often quotes anonymous sources to protect them. And so I find it rather contradictory that they don't like this Q team reposting their articles. So I'm going to support, whether I agree or disagree with somebody's views, values, beliefs, or opinions, they have a constitutional right under the First Amendment.
Jo Rae Perkins, Republican candidate for U.S. Senate. We appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.